if I look at this question, first of all, can you see there's two parts? Here's 2.1 with T2 fit, né? And then if you turn, you'll see there's a 2.2 Lighting Kings. Can you see it's two different companies? Okay, so it's two totally separate questions in this case. And you will see the first one would be about the costs, and the second one would be internal control break-even point. Okay, so if I look at the first one, they say calculate the direct material cost. Now, direct material cost is my direct material that was issued. Okay? Now, can you see they give it to you as a block, so you can do it the way you want to do it. So if you want to do it according to how we did it grade 11, the T account, or if you want to do it the way we're doing it in grade 12, the note, it doesn't matter. It works out the same way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a little T for raw material. And I'm going to say I have an opening, I have a closing, I have whatever I buy, and I have my work in process. And this will be my amount that is issued. That's the amount that goes here. Okay. So let's start. If I look at this, first thing they give me, now let's see, do they give me balances? So if I look at my stock records, my stock record says I have raw material, fabric to manufacture t-shirts. The fabric is issued from the storeroom to the factory for production. Remember, I did explain to you how it works. So in other words, the production guy in charge of production is going to fill in a form, that it's going to send to the storeroom. The storeroom is going to extract the stock that we need and issue it to production. Okay, it's two separate storerooms. So now let's look at this. They say the weighted average method is used to determine the value of the fabric. Yes. Okay. What I want you to see here, can you see they're mixing topics? Because now they say the weighted average method is used to determine the value of the fabric. Can you see that? But when they do things like, so already, can you see inventory valuation, that topic can be integrated anywhere, because in paper 1, I promise you, it will be integrated with your income statement balance sheet. There's not even a thought in my head that they're not going to do that. And look here, they do it again, because they want to test that you know all three methods. They want actually a way to get to test weighted, sim, and FIFO. And here they are testing if you know weighted. Okay, so now they say, note that 1.2 meters of fabric is required to make one t-shirt. So in other words, you are able to calculate how many meters is needed, supposed to be needed, and then you're going to see what we're going to do now. So now can you see here, they give us my opening is 64,800. 64,800. Right? But can you see they don't give me my closing? But that doesn't surprise me, because I need to calculate that. And it's actually very easy in the sense that they already gave me available to use. Can you see there? This is already the opening plus the purchases. They already did it. And how do I get my average price? It's I just divide it. What's wrong?
I don't understand.
Okay, so let's go again. If you take, quickly, can you see, there's my stock balance. This is my opening. And here's my closing. You all see that? Okay? Now, oh, but they made it quite easy. I don't even have to do the T account. Can you see that? I don't even have to do the T account. Why do I say that? Because with the T account, I would take that plus the purchases, ne? Subtract the closing, which I'm going to calculate now, balance on work in process. Or I can do it even easier, because they tell me here the raw material issued. Can you see? They tell me it's 18,900 meters, ne? Now I just need to get the rand value. And how do I get the rand value? They tell me I need the weighted average. Okay, is everybody with me? So now let's go look. Can you see that's the opening, that's the purchases. Now just quickly take your calculator, say 1.6 plus 18.8, you're going to see you're going to get 20.4. Can you see they added it for me? So in other words, when they tell you something is available, remember here they talk about available to use. If it was finished goods, they would say available to sell, ne? Which is always the opening plus the new. Okay. And can you see if you say that's 64 plus 894, it already gave you the 958. Is everybody with me? So now, in other words, how am I going to get that average? Is I just literally going to say the 958, 800, divided the 2400, and that's going to give me my average price. Okay, which is what? 37.47. And now I say to you, if it's got commas, a decimal, you round off, ne? But not to the nearest rand, to the nearest cent. You clean your calculator. You type it in again how you rounded it off, times 18,900. And then I get my work in process, which is how much? Okay, let's say on your calculator, let's say, I need you guys to focus. Let's say on my calculator, it say my units is 100, and then when I go calculate my average, on the calculator screen, it says 10.1789. Now, what you do is you say, if I round this off, it's going to be 10.18, right? Can you see my answer is then going to be 1018. But if I don't clean my screen, if I leave that 10.1789 there, it's going to be 1017. Can you see your answer is going to be different? Okay. So, that's why I'm saying you clean your calculator, you put in what you rounded off. And this is going to give me 888,300.
Ma'am, question.
Just for interest's sake, let me finish the T for you. If I did it according to the T, let me just block it off that you don't get confused. If I do it according to the T, this one, then I would have said the closing is 1.5, I would still do that calculation to get the 47, So 1.5 times 47 gives me 70,500. And then I would balance. How do I balance? This plus this minus this equals this, and it would also be that amount. With this one, they tell me, number 2, calculate the factory overhead cost for the year by completing the table in the answer book. Refer to information B. Now, if I go to information B, it says, the bookkeeper calculated the factory overheads as 600,000. However, he made the following errors that should be corrected. Now, remember, this factory overheads, this is expenses. Ne? This is my expense. So remember, accrued expense will make this more. Prepaid expense will make this less. Okay, now let's quickly look. So they say, the closing stock of factory indirect material. What is indirect material? Consumable stores. Was omitted, meaning left out, left behind. Right. So now what are they saying to me? They showed, if I go look at they don't give me any information. But what they are actually saying is that my consumable stores that's included in this total is wrong. So it's wrong with 7,000. Now, is it too much with 7,000 or is it too little with 7,000? Let me finish the sentence. What is consumable stores on hand? It's the consumables that was not used. What consumables is supposed to be in that 600? The ones we used. What did we do? We showed the used and the unused. Ne? So, it means, do I want to add or subtract the ones that I didn't use? I want to subtract. Now let me quickly tell you here. This is the same as the cash flow statement. If your sign is wrong, then mark the figure with the sign. So they don't give you marks for the calculation somewhere. Okay. Next one. The total water and electricity cost for the year was 84,000, meaning included in that 600,000 is 84,000. It was included in factory overheads. This should have been allocated. Remember what I said to you about expenses. Your expenses is divided in 3 sections. Factory, admin, sales and distribution. What did they do? Water and electricity, you're going to get one account. Ne? You're not going to get separate accounts because you're on one vicinity. You're using one switchboard for the whole building, even though the building is divided in admin, factory, sales and distribution. So now what did we do? We took that whole account that we received from the municipality and we showed it as an expense for factory overheads. We don't want to do that because it's pushing up the cost of production. Eh? Okay, so now what was supposed to happen? We were supposed to say the factory is only 60%. So now let's quickly think. We showed 100%. We're supposed to show only 60%. So I need to, it's overstated with 40%. Do you understand? So in other words, I showed 10 rand. I'm supposed to show 6 rand. What am I going to do? I'm going to minus the 4. Okay. When you struggle with a calculation and it's big figures, just go to a simple figure and make it more simple for yourself. Okay. So can you see with this water and electricity, I want to subtract 40%. So I take the total of 84 times 40%, and that gives me 33. Yes, the water and electricity, right? So in other words, in my T account for water and electricity, I have a balance of 84 because they say this is the total. So this is 100%. I'm supposed to close to admin 15, sales and distribution 25, factory overheads 60%. Okay, but what did I do? I closed everything to the factory. 100% to the factory, but there's only supposed to be 60%. So the most obvious is I'm going to subtract the 40. What would have happened if they told me that that 84,000 was actually for the admin? We wrongfully closed the admin of 84 to water and electricity, to factory overheads. Then you have to work it back to 100, né? And then work it out for the factory. Or you can say, divide 15 times. You first have to take out the 100 and then put it in the factory. You guys get it?
No.
So in other words, let's say they word it wrong. Can you see here they say the total, meaning they tell you the 100%. But what if they say the admin, the part that was supposed to go to admin was 84 and we wrongfully put it in factory overheads. Then I must want to take out the 84, né? And put in the right one. And what's the right one? The right one is that 84, but I want to put in 60%, and I know this is 15.
You don't have to tell us that you need to put in the one of the correct one.
Yeah. So what I do is I take out the wrong one, and I put in the right one.
If they don't give us the right one, like we have to.
They didn't give you the right one. They just gave you 60%.
Ma'am, I'm saying that if they do say that like they put in the wrong account, then we don't just take it out. We also need to put back the right.
Yes.
Put in the right one.
Yeah. Because at this stage, if it was worded like this, it means the 84 was inside the factory overheads. So you can do it one of two ways. You can leave the 84 there and just add the part that should be added. Ne? Or you can take out the 84 and put in what is right. Doesn't matter, it's going to be the same effect.
Then I still have a question. Going back to indirect material.
Yes, indirect. Yeah.
They say it's the closing stock, so it's the one that's not used. But then they say it's omitted, so why are we minusing it if it's omitted?
Okay, so in other words, if I look at my consumable stores, so I have 100% here. Then I split it between the used, which goes to the, in this case, the factory overheads. It can also be split between factory, admin, sales and distribution, and the unused, which would go to consumable stores on hand, which will go to the balance sheet. Okay. So now they say they didn't take into account the 7,000 that was unused. So can you see, in my factory overheads was not supposed to be the 100%, but the 100 less the used. Can you see this isn't 100%? And that's why I subtracted the 7.
So
Can you see in the T? It's on opposite sides.
When they say omitted, they mean
Left out. They didn't take it into account.
But then when you say left out, it is left out. Then why are we minusing it?
Okay, when they say left out, they mean it's left out of the calculation. And your calculation should be what you had in total less the ones you didn't use. It was omitted from the T. I understand what you are thinking. You are thinking it was left out so they didn't show it. But if they didn't show it, it means they forgot to subtract it. That's what they mean. So it's a language thing.
And that will be stock.
They can,
So
what?
final stock.
Yes. Yeah, so what they are actually saying is we didn't do the adjustment for the unused stock. That's what they actually said there. But the wording is confusing, I agree. Okay, let's go to number 3. Can you see they get a little bit more difficult every time? So number 3, what they say, factory insurance of 45. So insurance of 45,000. But can you see factory insurance? No? So that's the part that was allocated to factory overheads. Was allocated according to the old ratio of 3:1:2. Nay, for factory sales and offers respectively. But we have changed it because the floor space changed. So, can you see it's 15 to 3 to 6. But we allocate, and if we want to make it even smaller, it's 3 to 1.
Then it's 5, 1.
5 to 1
Yeah.
to 2. Whereas here it's 3 to 1 to 2. Okay, so now we need to fix this. So, I first want to work it back to 100. Okay, so if I want to work it back to 100, that 45, what am I going to do? What is the total for the 3:1:2? What's the total there? 6. So I'm going to swap it, ne? Because to get the 45,000, I said 3/6. You all with me? Now I want to reverse it. So I'm going to say 6/3. Okay? And now I'm going to do it according to this. What is that sum? It's 8. Can you see we want the 5/8?
Why are we reversing it?
Because I want to calculate what it should be. So if you look at the 45 is wrong. Okay? So if I say 6/3, it's going to give me, the total was 90,000. Is that right? So, in other words, I now want to subtract the 90,000 times 5/8. And that's going to give me. So can you see this is overstated? So if it's overstated, it means I'm going to add back how much? No, it's not overstated. It's understated. It's understated with what? No, what's the difference? So you're going to say the 45, this is how it's shown at this stage. The 56 is how it's supposed to be shown. So it's understated with the difference.
It's 1, 1, 2, 3.
Because the 45 is already included in the 600. The 45 is already there, but we did it wrong. So we just need to subtract the extra that is understated.
Why are we subtracting insurance? Why are we subtracting insurance?
Because I subtracted 45, but I was supposed to subtract 56. So what's the difference between those two? It's 11 to 50. So I still need to subtract the extra 11.
Isn't it insurance that we need to pay them?
Yeah, but this was my expenses. Factory overheads is my expenses.
Yeah.
So my expenses,
And we
I need to add it. I need to add it. Thank you, Mary. I need to add it. Do you understand why I add it? Yeah, I'm with the income statement. It's very good that I make these mistakes because then I can see if you are really thinking. No, it was all part of the lesson plan.
Wow.
Oh, but I am so lying. Yeah. Okay. Huh? I'm adding because I have to. The expense is getting more. This isn't an income statement that says less expenses, right? This is because if it was less expenses, I would have subtracted it from the expenses. It would have made my net profit less. But that's not the calculation. This calculation is I want to know what is my expense, and my expense is actually more than the expense that I showed. I'm so not going to put these videos on.